down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Yeah, welcome to the Savvy Radio Show. I got one of my friends, homies, down from the jump, Amine, Millionaire. That's right, I said it right. Millionaire, all the way from Morocco, grew up on the other side of the world, I guess you would say. He was in high school, moved to the United States, and you are crushing it in real estate. First of all, why Oklahoma?
Well, when I finished high school, it was 18, 19, and a good friend of mine moved to the United States to finish school, go to college, and I had kept in touch with him, and he was telling me how great things are here and the opportunities. And
in Oklahoma?
No.
In the States, okay.
In the States in general. So I started pursuing, maybe coming in here and finishing my school as well. And he said that he would host me and help me, get going initially. So I applied for a visa and got admitted to Bunker Hill Community College in Boston.
Okay.
East Coast. And
now Boston's kind of sexy. Water.
Yeah,
things to do.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
People are educated there. I mean, in Oklahoma too. Don't get me wrong, but
I mean, it's very expensive over there to be able to go to school, especially as an international student. I mean, they
hammer you.
Yeah, they hammer you. And,
I think all schools do.
Yeah,
they think you just are rich because you might have some success.
Yeah. So I was able to find my uncle to sponsor me. And boarded a plane and
just came in,
landed in
and
Boston.
Did you have money with you? Some cash?
My dad gave me $1,800, and I knew I couldn't ask for any more. So $1,800 is what I had in my pocket.
I can't wait to
landed in Boston. And I remember vividly when I got out of the airport, and I everything is different because Morocco is it's different. People look different, the buildings look different. So the only thing that looked the same is the sky.
Wow.
So just kind of, I was so nervous. I just kept looking at the sky. It just
and you were solo. You had no girlfriend, no. No, you were. How old were you?
But 19.
So you were 19, landed in the States with a few $100 in cash.
Yeah, and no English.
No English.
No
Dude,
English.
you have barely an accent now.
Yeah. Well, I do.
You must be smart. What'd you go to school for?
I ended up getting undergraduate from UCO and then OSU Stillwater for my master's degree.
What field?
Telecommunication management.
Cool.
MIS. So I'm in IT field.
All right. So now you're just a refugee.
I'm there. I'm there.
You're in Boston.
Yeah, but my best friend was there, so he kind of helped me along the way, and his uncle was. Somewhat established there, had a good job, had an apartment that he kind of let us live there.
Cool.
For very, very little money. So I stayed with him for a couple of months. I actually had a job. He hooked me up with a job at a restaurant.
Were you
cleaning
server?
Cleaning tables.
Just a busboy.
A busboy, basically.
19 from Morocco.
Yeah.
Bussing tables. Was your mom bummed that you jetted across the world?
I don't know how my family felt about it initially, but I think they just wanted the best for me. And
sacrifice.
Obviously the opportunities were better here.
All right, so I'm so excited because I know some of your history already about collecting rent at a young age, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, okay, Boston, Oklahoma City.
So I knew long term I wasn't going to make it and be able to stay at school because the tuition is just insane over there.
And you were on your own. You had no funding.
Yeah.
You just had the 1800. So you had to work your way through school.
Yeah. And you as a student in a student visa, you have to stay at school.
Right. You can't just hustle.
Yeah.
Sure.
So at that time, I started looking for public universities that are reasonable. And UCO, University of Central Oklahoma, at that time was one of the cheapest universities for international students.
UCO or OCU?
UCO.
Okay. Up in
Edmond, yeah.
Okay.
So I decided, that's where I want to go, and
you packed up from there.
I packed up from there, and then boarded a plane. And actually, my friend's uncle paid for my airplane ticket. I was broke.
Dang.
Came here, and I had a friend of mine that was already here that hosted me for the first month and a half or so until I got things going and was able to get a job at a fast food. Brahms was my first job.
This is awesome.
And
this is the freaking American dream, homie.
Yeah,
when people find out how many units you have and what you're doing, this is awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
that's why
so
now,
Brahms, you're freaking flipping burgers at Brahms.
Yeah, flipping burgers. And, I used to, like one paycheck would go to my expenses and the other paycheck would go to school, pay for school.
Yeah, just your living.
Yeah, I worked a ton of overtime. I mean, I remember.
Slave.
Yeah, pretty much I was slave because I remember the managers over there, they loved
jerks.
me because I worked all the time.
And you were like,
if
sure.
I was not at school, I was working.
Dang.
That's where I met my wife, by the way.
At Brahms?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have 2 kids?
Yeah, I have 2 kids.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I should have creeped a little bit more on your
Yeah.
Facebook page, but I just see you all the time that's how I know Amine is from real estate. And I remember when I first met you, you came in to a landlord lunch or whatever, or before that, and I was like, man, this guy, there's some swagger about you. You're young and hip and cool. I didn't know you were that cool. I didn't know that you like died to get to where you're at. Except for when you send me text messages of crazy questions. And I'm like, call the police. All right, we'll get to those too. Yeah. All right, so now you're at freaking Brahms. Okay, so you're working through school. How long did that take you? And you met her like relatively quickly. So you were in the States a whole year. So you were probably Boston 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
From there, then you're all of a sudden transplanted in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You're working a freaking job, no going nowhere. So this is sacrifice for 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, the first 3 years were definitely hard because, I paid, my way through school. I had.
That's awesome, man.
I didn't want to, call my family because, I mean, I know they can help me, but they're going to struggle to come up with the money too. So. Right,
and you want to be the lead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the drive, okay, there's so many, I have 1,000 questions. So let's just. All right, keep going. I'm going to drill you with a bunch of questions here in a minute.
So put myself through undergraduate. Met my wife along the way. She was going to school as well. So,
what's her degree in?
History.
Okay.
She's a history major, and she. So when I met her, we started dating, and then in 2003, about 9 months into our dating, she was deployed to Iraq.
She was in the military?
She's in the military now.
Was she American?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
And so we got married right before.
Well, you got citizenship.
Well, she didn't want to leave our relationship in a limbo.
Cool.
So we decided, you know what, if we want to commit to each other, might as well, go ahead and get married. So.
Well, how about your parents? Did you tell them? Or did you get married first? Did they fly over?
No, they didn't come over. I mean, later on, now my mom and dad, they come here regularly, but at first they didn't come.
Of course.
So she shipped out for a year, and then I just focused on going to school and working
and just trying to communicate with her, letters and Skype and
making ends meet.
All right.
So.
Well, that's I didn't know you died that much. People. Is
it
easy being a real estate investor? No.
Yeah.
How'd you get there?
Yeah. Well, anything that's worthwhile is not easy. I mean, raising kids is not easy. Getting a degree is not easy. If it's easy, it's probably not worth your time.
True. Well said. All right. So, okay, we talked earlier off recording or whatever about how'd you know about real estate? I know. Tell me about the story about your dad and back then.
Yeah. So my dad had we lived in a like a townhouse. You can call it a duplex, but it had 4 stories. So we lived in the top 2, and my dad leased the bottom 2. And then growing up, my dad used to send me to get the rent money, And
how old were you?
I'd knock 6, 7, 8. Because I'd just go.
Go down there.
Yeah, down the stairs, right? And then
go get the cash.
And they'd pay me cash, and the rent like $150.
Okay,
$160 for 3 bedrooms, and I'd take them upstairs to him, and sometimes a lot of times he would hand me a $1 or $2 off of that.
Good. So I pay my kids right now. People think I'm weird, but I mean, go do this. I'll pay you.
Yeah, and I remember vividly. There's a lot of things that I remember, but you know how people call them here mailbox money.
Yeah.
And I like that. Mailbox money. My dad called them the fruits of heaven.
Fruits of heaven.
I like that. That's what he called
money
them.
grows on trees.
Yeah.
All right. So that was your first encounter of real estate. And then But you were, Americanized. You want to go see America, the
Yeah.
land of the free, the ideas of I can do whatever I want, entrepreneurial-ish.
Yeah.
So then how did you get into real estate? Like, what turned you on? I mean, you had that seed planted.
Yeah.
But how'd you go to how'd you buy a property?
Yeah. Well, fast forward 2006. My wife did not have a job at that time because we had our firstborn baby and she stayed at home with her. And I was losing my job because the company I worked with was bought out by another company and my job was getting eliminated. So we were under a lot of financial stress. I wouldn't say we were almost losing our job, but it was eventually going to happen because we don't have a job and we have a mortgage of about $1,100 at that time. So that I don't wish financial stress on anybody because once you go through it, you don't ever want to go through it again. So I started thinking, hey, I need to be financially free. I need to have enough income not to have to go through this again.
Okay, so you had the pressure of
Yeah.
because you have the child too. Was that a trigger too?
Yeah. And then initially, I started looking, maybe I should, get a second job. I mean, to get.
Well, you already had the work ethic.
Yeah. So I sold things on eBay, Amazon. I drove the limo as a side hustle. I tried to deal in cars, but I quickly realized that I'm still trading my time, and there's only
you're
so
away
much
from your
time.
family.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem watching you on
Yeah.
Facebook. You're similar. Like I love my family. That's all. That's why I do this. That's why I do real estate.
Yeah, and then it wasn't going to work out, so we just started researching. And
Was it a
looking.
book? Was there internet?
I
did you see a course? Did you go to a class?
Honestly,
You have a
I
homie
can't-
out there that said, "Hey, I mean, we're gonna go buy rental property together."
I can't pinpoint like a specific event that led me through real estate. I think it's a series of events, if you will. I mean, just looking
Okay.
up things online.
Now you got 12 units now.
Yeah.
How'd you start? Like you just found a house online? I mean, tell me,
when
how'd you
I-
get your first? Let's talk about your first deal.
Well, I actually my first house I bought in 2005. When I moved to my second house in 2006, 2006, the market wasn't good at that time. The beginning of the crash, so I couldn't sell it for what I want or what I owed.
And this was your residence.
Yeah.
So you moved out of there, tried to sell it, couldn't sell it, so
Yeah.
you were forced to be a landlord.
Yeah. So I leased it. I rented it, but I rented it for the amount of the mortgage. At that time I thought if it covers the mortgage, maybe I'm making money.
Maybe.
So I leased it.
I love it.
I just sold that house a couple of months ago. So, now I'm a landlord, and
Was it hard? Easy?
I mean, it was learning experiences, right? Looking back, it probably was hard at the time, but looking back into it now, what I know today.
Yeah,
It was a bunch of learning experiences. It wasn't making money, but it taught me that there's possibilities.
What do you think you could have? Did you think you under rented it, or you just didn't know, or you were just trying to be?
I probably under rented it. I mean, it's in Edmond, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths for $750.
Yeah,
it's
that's
definitely
I would have bought it for.
Yeah,
like, that's like $1,100, $1,200
yeah,
place.
it's about $1,100. And the person I sold it to is an investor, and he had it. He has it for at least for $1,150 right now. So
Okay. So that's
So,
cool. So
yeah.
so that was your first transaction. Why'd you initially move?
just wanted having a baby, wanted a bigger house.
Okay. So you wanted to kind of upgrade or whatever, and then so you rented that mother out, and then
Yeah.
you kept on that. So then what? What was the next stage after that?
2013 was my truly first investment property.
Okay, so that you kind of laid low for about 5-6 years.
Well, I mean,
That was 06.
the 2005 house was my primary residence, and then in 2006 I moved again to a bigger house and leased it. But I was a kind of accidental landlord. Now, being intentional,
Pursuing it,
pursuing
and
it
you had
as an
an idea.
investor is 2013.
So
January.
Okay, so this is awesome. This is my favorite time of the year is 2014. But
Yeah.
so you had the little example from your dad. He owned his own little property,
Mm-hmm.
and then so there was free mailbox money, or whatever, and then or money from fruit, or what did your dad say?
Fruits of heaven. That's
Fruits
what
of
they called
heaven.
it. Yeah, that's funny.
And then you randomly became a landlord, and now so what? Okay, so now I really want to know what got your motor running in 2013.
Yeah, 2013 I started looking for more properties that I can buy and hold, and I did my first deal.
But like, what turned you on? 6 years you're sleeping.
well,
I mean, you didn't look for 6 years. There's got to be a trigger. You know, I watch Criminal Minds. All right, there's a stressor. What is a stressor?
Well, like I said, the stressor is you know, financial. Me and my wife going through financial difficulties in 2006.
Back then, yeah.
And you know, for a period of few years, I just had side hustles, and they weren't working.
And you couldn't live on them
term,
either.
You know,
Right.
I was too busy doing my full-time job and just hustling on the side. It wasn't gonna work. 2013, just through, you know, researching online, I mean, you know, how do these people get wealthy? And then everything takes you back to real estate, you know.
So, okay.
Every time
so
I
you
talk
want
to
a better
somebody,
life.
what is this guy doing at real estate, you know?
So
Yeah.
so, and you're from a different country. So you see all these Westernization people buying $200 glasses and sunglasses and, you know, Miss Me jeans.
Yeah.
And you're
You
like,
drive around, it's like, what do these people do?
that is exactly
like,
what I'm like. What does this guy do?
Yeah.
I'll drive by a giant house. I'm like, what does he do? He's got to be in oil.
yeah.
I mean, what does he do? That's awesome. I think that too. When I see
Actually
like
bought oil too.
Oh, man.
royalties. I had oil royalties sold.
I just found out today, just a side note, I just met with an investor a little while ago. And did you know you can 1031 exchange mineral rights?
I think you can.
You can.
Yeah.
So that's another episode. All right, forget that. So you just started diving into real estate, and you just started buying them, and then just the ball started rolling. Did you started going to the meetings, started hanging out with people?
2013, I did 2 or 3 deals that year, all buy and hold. And then 2014, by mid 2014, that's when I started to
push it
go
hard
to the real estate meetings. And then I went to my second real estate meeting, and I met this guy, and he asked me, we start talking about, at that time I had four rentals. And then this person asked me, hey, well, how do you own your rentals? I'm like, and they're my name. It's like, well, you're stupid. You know who this guy was?
Who?
It was you.
Oh, no.
And I was like, wow, man, this is my crowd, because, you know, someone is going to give you feedback like that.
Yeah, you got to get out of your name.
You know, I mean.
You don't want the liability.
I felt like, you know, everybody had everyone's best interest in mind at the meeting.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of like-minded people, so I just started showing up, and I don't miss that meeting.
That's awesome. I'm excited, man. I know we connected and sometimes I just say stuff, but you know, when I look at you and I see your smile on your face, and I see just the life that you have now, I think of that for that Devon kid. I hang out with him, Devon.
Yeah,
what's his name, Devon?
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Yeah,
we need to push him to get into real estate.
I've been trying to push.
He's trying to kind of passive, Mr. Google out there. He's got the freaking hottie with the Google job.
Yeah.
I'm like, anyway, he's gonna laugh right now.
Yeah.
All right, so you take it serious. Like, I know you flipped a couple of deals, right? I saw I saw you hold. Didn't you just sell one not too long ago? It was like a flip or something.
Yeah, I've done about 5 flips, and I got one going right now. So,
and what made you decide to go into flips? I mean, obviously buy and hold is my game.
Yeah,
but
when I look at a deal, I try to monetize it any way I can. I mean, you know, why pass on $25,000?
True.
If I can flip it and make $25,000.
What would you do with the 25? Would you reinvest it into a hold?
Well, either that, or, you know, it just goes towards my you know, long-term goal, which is owning a big multifamily.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's get into that here in a second. Yeah.
So 2013 did a couple of deals. 2014 did about 3, another 3, and then 2015 was my biggest year. Did 8 or 9
flips and holds, right?
2 flips, and the rest of them are hold.
Congratulations! I'm super stoked for you. That's awesome. Now, okay, so let's dive into one landlord story, okay, and then we'll go into the multifamily thing.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I get this text message on my phone. Hey, what do you do with this? And I was like, what the okay. And so I click on it, and I see this video of News 4. Someone smashes into a property and blah, 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 blah. And I could tell with the way you text me was like concern. I don't know. I can't remember what you said, but you're like, I need help here. What do I need to do? And I was like, and I didn't want to be a jerk.
Yeah.
I was like, do you have insurance? I was like,
well, no.
What happened on that deal? Tell me about that.
I was, well, I mean, I'm at 5 o'clock that day. I think it's the 24th of last month. I get a call from the cops. Hey, do you own this house? Yes. Well, there's a car inside the kitchen. Someone crashed into it, going backwards in reverse. I'm like, I thought someone was trying to punk me. Like, if
like MTV.
So I look at the number, it's private. And I'm like, are you sure? What's your name? Just trying to, see what's up, right? Officer, this and that. And I'm like, okay, I'm driving over there. And I'll go over there. Yeah, I mean.
What were you eating? Dinner? Were you with your family?
Actually, I was leaving my full-time job. It was about 5 o'clock.
Okay, so
home.
you get this call. So you call your wife, say, "Hey, I'll be a little late."
I know I didn't call her or anything. I mean,
So
I
you-
wanted to see what's up first.
Okay.
I go in there. And there's a car inside the kitchen.
So
Yeah.
did you text me when you were on the property?
When I got there, because what I wanted to know is, something funny happened. I had like 2 or 3 people call me immediately. These emergency services people
Like
trying to help me.
Oh, like EMTs?
EMT, 1-800 board up, a bunch of companies like that. They look at they watch the news stream.
Yeah, and so
if
then they
there's- yeah, they
pulled you
show
up
up.
on the county because you're just not
Yeah.
your corporation name.
Yeah, yeah.
So they look.
Well, they pulled my company, Medina Homes LLC.
Okay,
I'm under
cool.
that, but I have a Facebook page that has my number. They know what they're doing.
Okay. So I was like, how'd they get hold of you? Okay,
Yeah.
so they're calling you. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to know if you know of a good public adjuster that you work
Yes.
with.
Did you get one?
Yeah, I did. Through
Okay.
Alan. Alan hooked me up.
Yeah, the
so.
Prather guy. I just
Yeah.
interviewed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a small world.
he's
So
working with me, yeah.
did you board it up? Were you nervous? Did you pee your pants? I mean, obviously you have insurance.
The guy that hit me didn't have insurance, so I have to go through my insurance.
The guy that what happened? Was he drunk?
Well, he was in an altercation
Across the street?
Across the street, and I'm not sure if there was some weapons involved, but he was trying to run away from somebody or drive away from somebody. Put the car in reverse and pushed the gas. Didn't stop until the kitchen, basically.
Was he hurt? Was he injured?
No, he had his 3 kids there as well.
In the car?
Yeah, he wasn't injured. And he doesn't have insurance either. Kids were fine. I mean, the ambulance was there. They checked them out and released them.
So was it vacant? Was there a tenant in there?
No, tenants. I have tenants there, but they weren't there.
Thank God.
Thank God they weren't there.
They come home to a car
Yeah,
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I guess obviously the first call was insurance.
Yeah.
Is it what I suggested to you?
Well, I called his insurance first because he had insurance before, but he had let it lapse at the time of the accident. It had already lapsed. So I found out that really he didn't have.
So you're
insurance,
screwed.
So I called my insurance and through the public adjuster.
And I guess they're still dealing with this case. Is it still going?
No, I have an estimate and we're settling it. So
Oh, right on. So
should start working on it maybe next week.
So what'd you do with? You're all like chill about it. You're like, yeah, no big deal.
It was
someone's in my
yeah.
freaking driveway with the car and
Yeah.
the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
I mean, this is such a great story.
It's just part of the business, you know. You start thinking about this as a business.
Yes,
and,
it has.
and things happen with the business. That's why we have insurance.
All right, well said. I mean, people. Yeah, this is not a game. I
And-
mean, they're not treating you. It's LLC. It's the police. It's
Yeah.
laws. It's legal. It's
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Period.
Being a landlord helped me a lot on my personal life as well, because my tolerance for stress is way high. I mean, the things that stress normal people, I just look at it and I'm like, okay.
I always think, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
I mean, you came across the country, man. So
Yeah.
I was homeless at one time. So I'm in like, okay, take it away.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not like I can't do it over.
Yeah.
I mean, so you settled that deal. Are you coming out ahead on that? I hope. You've known enough construction. We'll get off this subject real fast, but I've had a huge claim like that. Are you going to come out ahead?
Yeah.
Are you going to rebuild this whole thing? Because
yeah.
you could sell. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna work out.
Okay. So
It's gonna work out.
Okay. You'll pocket hopefully something for your time and effort, and you're going to general contract it out. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
As I learned from James Prather the other day, he taught me you should automatically ask for profit and whatever the freak that's called.
Overhead.
Yeah, profit and overhead ASAP.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how he handles that, and
Yeah.
hopefully it goes well. And then what about the displaced tenants? Obviously they weren't kicking. Did you board it up and they stayed there?
No, because the OG&E and the gas and electric, they took the meters immediately.
So now you got to pull permits to get them back.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah,
Eventually.
but that can be done.
Was it brick on the front? Was it
It's
frame?
brick.
Hey, I need a mason.
Yeah.
So if you find one,
I'm probably gonna end up getting rid of that brick and just put cedar siding.
Yeah,
Put a big window, where
the
the
mason
car
I-
went in. Just put a big window for the next car.
I mean, I'm assuming that you're documenting this.
Well, yeah, I got a
before and
bunch of
after. Did you get a
pictures.
picture?
Yeah, I got a bunch of pictures, bro.
I have a little thing I have, and this is a tip for you out there, investors. You got to get a success book. It's a 3-ring binder. that I have pages in there. And crazy thing, when I get sued or, I speak at a special place or just interesting things, people write me a thank you card. I put that stuff in my success book. When I have hard times and I flip through there, I'm like, man, that was a joke. But back then I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't had a house burnt down, and I have not had a car pull into the into the kitchen.
Yeah.
But 30 years from now, it's not going to really matter. No one's going to care. And that's what's the great thing about insurance. You're going to make out okay. All right. So let's move on to the next thing. Multifamily. What is pinching your hiney to get it? Like all of a sudden 12, you started, now you're at 12 units, flipped, 5, 6, 18 transactions. Why multifamily? Well,
just my goal. I mean, I want to have a large multifamily. I'd say 75 to 100, enough to be able to have a full-time person, or maybe 1.5, one full-time person and one part-time person, and plus me. I would be doing the management side of things, and then have a maintenance, or 2 maintenance people.
Is this an exit strategy from your day job, or would you do both?
Yeah, eventually that would be an exit strategy for my day job.
And are you looking for so many units that you want to manage and own, or is it like you want the monthly cash flow? What's your goal and agenda for that?
Yeah, when I'm ready to jump into the multifamily, I'd be looking at the 75 to 100.
And why not 150? Why not 20?
Well, if I have enough capital to be able to finance 150, I would do it. Sure. 20 would be too small to be able to have full-time people that are taking care of it.
So what are you doing to find? Are you looking for these deals? Are you active right now?
I haven't started. I'm looking to. Well, I actually started looking, but I'm not looking to buy. There's a deal that I was interested in that just popped up, 59 units.
Hey, that's my name. Won't you tell me about
over,
that?
Maybe $2.6 million. But I would consider that when I'm ready, something like that.
Well, what makes you ready?
Capital.
You don't need capital.
Well, either
you can get funding.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Raise private money, and
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but did you listen to? No, you didn't listen to that. I haven't released this podcast yet, but a friend of mine. This is real simple, down and dirty. So this should motivate you. Mm-hmm. He got 10 investors to give $100,000. He put $100,000 in, so that's $1.1 million. He bought a 104 unit apartment building with the $101 million, and he got FHA loan for $2 million. So only really $100,000 of his own hard cash. Mm-hmm. Now he has equity split with those other gentlemen, but he owns a 104 unit.
Yeah,
and he's going to turn it from a C to a B property, which is about $500,000 in repairs, but it'll be, after all said and done, net $1 million.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking to do. I'm also looking for a value add.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I did my apartment building. It was a ghetto, and now it's becoming something worth super substantial in my little world. But I think you can do it now, man.
Yeah,
I don't think. I want to encourage you right here, live and direct.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely pursuing it.
Sure. Okay. Don't be weak.
Having that courage to pull that trigger.
Well, I'm trying to get you to tell me how you pulled the trigger the first time. I mean, I was talking to my wife the other day, and like, remember when you buy your first HUD, you on your own residence? You're like, oh man, I'm signing like 50 documents, and now like closing's a joke, right? I mean, but just back then, it's just like any newness. Anything that you've never been aware of, people don't buy more than one home in their life. Some people don't ever buy.
It's like buying a car too. I remember buying my first car cash. I was scared.
Yeah, right.
Handing the cash.
Well, what is it? I always thought when I bought a car, if I crash this thing, how am I going to pay for a new one?
Yeah,
because I just spent every single dollar. But anyway, just to encourage you, if that's something that you want to do, I think you're taking the right approach. Learn more about it. There's a lot of great books. David Lindahl. He is a master apartment. I went to his course in Boston, so you might want to look into that. But you can get the financing if the deal's solid enough, and that's what I think you can get it. So don't put a limitation on it. I can't afford it, or I can't do it right now. And you when you're not ready, it will be there.
Yeah,
you'll never be ready. Just like your units that you have now, even though you kind of slowly faded into it, which just fascinates me that you're even doing real estate. You're just casual about it, but it's so cool that one day, you've only,
Yeah.
you're going to be, you'll be large, man. I know you will. I have no doubt. I only put rock stars on the show, even if you are from Morocco, which is sexy in its own little Morocco. So where's your wife from? From the States? Is she white?
Black.
She's black?
Yeah.
I don't really pay attention on Facebook, but I need to ask these questions. I don't care. I know you got beautiful kids because every time I'm on Facebook.
Thanks, man. That comes from my wife.
Your kids pop up there. I'm like, oh, he's got my age kids. I'm like, oh, okay. Only thing we talk about is real estate. So, well, cool. She's black. All right. I don't care. But my question about her is she down? I mean, like a lot of women. I don't know that's sexist, but it seems like a lot of gentlemen that I speak with that they want to grow bigger or they want to do more, and like they're always asking me about my wife and how does she? We have this understanding, but is your wife involved? Is she down? She doesn't care. Women are more risk
adverse.
Adverse. I guess. I don't know.
She's definitely more risk adverse, but she supports me to an extent. To do whatever I want.
Well, plus
and she knows that's what I want. But
for a whole year, she was at it.
But the life-work balance is very important to her. So I gotta make sure that real estate doesn't consume me.
Right.
And even my full-time job doesn't consume me.
How do you fluctuate your time? You work at 9 to 5?
9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
And then you kind of do stuff on the weekends and at night.
Well, I have a couple people that work for me or with me on the real estate
like
side, on the rehabs,
on
the rehab side that I trust. I mean, I have people that I give my own truck to go, take care of business. I'm mostly involved on managing, getting the deals and
what you're good at. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, so,
I'm trying not to be on job sites anymore.
Yeah.
Even though I like and I'm blue collar, but what am I good at?
Yeah.
Where's the money come from?
I do some things that I enjoy, or want to learn, but I wouldn't do, like, for instance, I'd go and want to tile a backsplash. I'd go in there and just get it started and leave. Let them finish it. Just to get, I've done that before.
Yeah, obviously. You started out, you probably tiled your first house.
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah. So, now I don't want to tile. Why? When there's some guy better than me.
Yeah.
And this is just books that I've read, and it really hit me that cutting the lawn, right? So, I live on an acre, and so acre and a quarter is where I live, and I get a guy that cuts it for $50.
That's pretty good.
That's, of course, you got to negotiate. Got volume. We got other houses you could cut, So economies of scale. So he does me a solid $50, right? So it could be 75, but let's just say 50. And it takes 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's that divided by? $25 an hour, $20 an hour. Okay, in 2 hours, I can probably comb through 100 listings, probably find 10 deals, and make offers, and probably close on one.
Yeah.
If I was focused. Mm-hmm. So what's your time worth? And if I flip that one contract, let's just say I made $1,000. So in 2 hours, I can generate $500 an hour, or I can go cut my grass. Now, folks out there, if you're cutting your grass, like my wife, she likes to cut the grass. Not because she's Hispanic, but she does. No, I'm just playing. But she really does. She really loves to cut the grass. Her and her dad, that's their love for each other. It drives me crazy. It really, because I'm sitting on that lawnmower, and it's like, I can be doing this. Yeah, I could be writing this. I can be calling this person. I could be making a sale. But that's awesome, man. I'm extremely just impressed with what you're doing. And I know you'll be in multifamily probably tomorrow, hopefully. So what advice would you give for someone? You guys are a great story. Came from nothing with nothing, and you're in the United States, and you're kicking it in Oklahoma, which is awesome. And the funny, when I moved from California, I thought the same thing. I was like, there's no way in the world that I can live. I didn't want to live with 3 guys, at a $2,000 a month apartment and go nowhere. And, I went to college here as well. It was inexpensive. And what advice would you give someone now, especially from all your experience, world traveler, Oklahoma City? What advice would you give a newbie out there that's like on the fence, says he can't do it?
Well, to start with, if someone is serious about real estate, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people, because just to those people are going to help you pull the trigger, help you believe in yourself. You're going to see people that are just like you doing it day in and day out. And that helps a lot because the mind works in mysterious ways. I mean, just being around those people, your mind is going to start working towards those goals and achieving those goals. So definitely attend the local
clubs,
RIA meetings, whatever that is.
Did you ever think that you were going to be a millionaire?
I had no doubt.
So you knew even when you got here in the States?
Yeah, I had no doubt. Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed with you, man.
Thanks.
You did it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So surround yourself with people.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like, I mean, you probably heard this with the fishbowl analogy, right? You put yourself in, you put a goldfish in a small bowl, and it might grow a couple of inches, inch or two, but you put it in a pond, and that same fish would grow.
True.
Yeah. So it's the environment, right?
Right.
People that are around you. If people that are around you are limited from a financial perspective, you're going to be limited as well. Because what you see is what you really become. So,
well, Jim Rohn, says he's like you are the equal of the 5 people you hang out with.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
You hang out with people that work at Brahms.
Yeah,
you're going to be working at Brahms.
Yeah,
I mean, this is cool that you came out of that environment. And if you don't know what Brahms is out there in California,
it's
Indiana,
the best ice cream,
it's hamburger. It's real. It's the real farm fresh ice cream and beef and all that jazz.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna end with this one. What would you have done differently? Like, is it the financing? Something that you would have done, accelerated something? I mean, you're at a great pace. You're picking it up. Now you're thinking about the future, thinking about apartments. What would you have done differently thus far?
I definitely would have treated the business as a business and not as a hobbyist landlord, if you will. Mm-hmm. Because, up until last year, last year I did 8 deals, but up until last year, I was doing 1 and 2 or nothing.
A year,
Didn't attend the local meetings. Didn't know any of the other landlords. So treat it as a business. Put it in an LLC or whatever it is, a business entity.
And get the tax deductions like a business entity.
Yep. Yeah, and get your property management software in place. Whatever, treat it as a business in general.
Awesome.
I think it creates a good foundation for growth.
Yeah, you're prepared.
You're prepared to grow, add more units.
That's awesome.
That's the one thing I would have changed. But looking back, it's fine.
It's been a great progression.
Happened, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have any murder stories out there except for car stories. All right, it's been a pleasure to get to know you. Is it cool? Anybody can contact you, like an email, like a fake email, or no? You're just your Facebook page or something. Someone from Morocco needs to call you.
Medina Homes LLC.
Medina, spell it.
I'm on Facebook as well.
Medina, spell it.
Medina.
Medina Homes
LLC.
Facebook. All right, it's been awesome. You have a great day, man.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, go buy assets.
Investor Weekend is not far off, with over 10 information sessions to increase your portfolio. Log on to www.investorweekend.com. Whether you are a seasoned investor or never purchased a property before, you don't want to miss the Investor Weekend. Join us for a powerful, knowledge-packed weekend with over 10 informational sessions that are bound to enlarge your real estate investments. You will hear from the best national and local real estate investors that will share practical and relevant experiences with you, the investor. There will be several networking sessions to connect with other like-minded people for potential funding, partnerships, and yes, hot deals. Go to www.investorweekend.com. Did you know we meet once a month for the Landlord Lunch Meeting? The third Wednesday of every month. Go to landlordlunch.com.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.